Hey everyone, Chris Crazyhouse here with some Chris Crazy commentary, and I promised I would do this earlier in the week where I talk about Legendary's Monsterverse and trying to straighten out some things for the casual fans out there who don't know what's going on with this Godzilla vs. Kong movie. So I'm going to break that down for you guys so you guys can have one comprehensive video where you can understand what the backstory and what connects all to this little universe here. So before I do that, just let you know, if you like my commentaries, if you like my art videos, make sure you go ahead and subscribe to this channel, and also let you know that I do have an online store where I sell my products. I have my coloring books there, I have my comic books, and I also have some posters as well as some naturally cute stickers that are available now on my online store. And as always, my coloring books are also available on Amazon.com. So either one, you want to jump on the store, my online store, to get all of my products, or if you just want the coloring books, you can either get them with me or you can go to Amazon and get them there. It's all up to you. I would appreciate it either way. And moving on, we're going to be talking about the Legendary Entertainment's Monsterverse. So recently they released a trailer for their movie Godzilla vs. Kong, and everyone seems to love the trailer. Everyone seems very excited about this film, even with the idea that, you know, a lot of theaters are closed down and how they're going to release it. I believe it's going to be a same-day release where it's going to be in some theaters but also on HBO Max. So we shall see how that goes when it's finally released. I know they moved the dates around because they don't want this release to collide with their release of the new updated version of Justice League. But I wanted to explain about the Monsterverse because I've seen people having debates and I've seen people asking questions, and I wanted to straighten this out for you guys, like I said, in one comprehensive video so you don't get too confused. So this latest movie of Godzilla vs. Kong is all based within a self-contained universe called the Monsterverse, and it's all contained within what Legendary has been doing for the last few years or so. So there's only 4 movies that are canon within this Monsterverse. That is the Godzilla movie that came out in 2014. There was an American Godzilla movie that just came out in 2014. That was the very first movie that is contained within this Monsterverse, and that, if you don't remember the plot, that is where these 2 creatures called Muto awakened, and they were attacking nuclear facilities, and it was revealed that Godzilla is actually their natural predator. So of course when these things wake up, that means he shows up as well to go hunt them. So that's where this Monsterverse is kind of based more on an actual ecosystem. So these animals are part of our planet. They're not necessarily created by nuclear waste or by nuclear power. They've always been a part of our planet, but a lot of them have gone to sleep. A lot of them existed during prehistoric times or during ancient civilizations. We find out in the other movies in the Monsterverse that there were ancient cultures that actually worshipped Godzilla or worshipped King Kong. So that's where this universe takes place in. I know it's confusing because the character Godzilla and the character King Kong stretch back all the way to the beginnings of film itself, where popular films were made throughout the ages for decades. I think Godzilla actually holds the record for being a fictional character appearing in the most movies. But those other Godzilla movies and those other King Kong movies have nothing to do within this universe. Okay? So I know it's confusing because I've seen people asking questions like, how can Kong fight Godzilla? He's not the same size. Yes, the original King Kong, but this is not the same Kong. Okay? So, like I said before, the first movie in this Monsterverse starts with Godzilla 2014. If you haven't seen it, you can go watch it, I'm sure, on one of their streaming platforms. I'm sure it's out there. I have them all on Blu-ray, but if you're looking for it, you can find it easily on Amazon or Amazon Prime. The second film in this series of films is Kong Skull Island, which came out in 2017. This is where we are introduced to King Kong in this Monsterverse. And this story takes place, is actually almost kind of a prequel, you can say, because it takes place during the Vietnam War, or at least towards the end in the 1970s, where a survey crew goes to a island called Skull Island to take a look at it, and that's where they discover that is ruled over by a giant primate called Kong, that the people there worship. And they also find that Skull Island is a point where that leads to the Hollow Earth. They introduce a lot of conspiracy theories into these films, a lot of conspiracy theories that you see around the internet about cryptozoology and also Hollow Earth civilizations. They introduced that in this Kong Skull Island movie. So this is the first time we're introduced to Kong. Now, in this film, he is not as big as he will be later on. So this film takes place in the 1970s, and they reveal that Kong himself is only at, I guess you could say, a teenager age. They show that there are other skulls on the island of other giant primates that were his parents, and they're dead now. And Kong is the last of that species, and he's still growing. So that's what I wanted to tell you there. So that solves the whole size discrepancy. And they're saying that because they know later on they're going to have him fight Godzilla. So they're showing you that he is still growing. He's not the final size that he's going to be. So moving on. The next film in this series is Godzilla, King of the Monsters, that came out in 2019. Before the crash of all the pandemic and everything, I think this was actually the last film that I actually saw in theaters. So this was the film that featured Godzilla, and he comes in contact with the only rival predator that exists, which is King Ghidorah. And Ghidorah is the three-headed dragon that Godzilla winds up fighting. And they also reveal that the reason that he is a natural rival to Godzilla, he's not even from Earth. So King Ghidorah is awakened from the Arctic ice, and some of the other monsters are awakened as well, like Mothra and Rodan and several other monsters that they created specifically for this universe. A lot of them are awakened as well by King Ghidorah. King Ghidorah puts out a call, and that wakes up all the other monsters on Earth. But like I said, the only rival he has is Godzilla. And, you know, if you haven't seen it, I think it's a very fun movie. It's one of my favorite movies I saw recently over the last few years. But I'm biased because I like giant monsters anyway. But I really enjoyed this movie. And by the end, Godzilla winds up killing King Ghidorah, and he becomes, quote unquote, the king of monsters. All the other monsters literally bow down to him by the end. So that is where we are now, and that is the movie that leads up into the one that is going to be released soon, and that is Godzilla vs. Kong. So now, a lot of people are saying, like, how can Kong fight Godzilla because he's not the same size? I've already answered that based on what this universe has put forth. This is a different Kong. This is not the Kong, and people are saying, like, how is he going to fight Godzilla? Godzilla can withstand being hit by nuclear bombs and everything else, and Kong was killed by some biplanes. This is not the same King Kong, okay? They showed in the Kong Skull Island movie, he had napalm dropped on him, fought off helicopters that were shooting bullets at him, and survived and did just fine. He also fought several other giant monsters called, what were they called, the skull crawlers or something like that. He killed them. He eats giant squids for breakfast. Okay, so it's a different Kong that we're dealing with, as well as a different Godzilla that we're dealing with. So this Godzilla, I'm not sure how they're going to deal with the ending of King of the Monsters, because Godzilla got a little bit of a power up there from a nuclear weapon, as well as the monster Mothra sacrificing her energy and almost kind of merging and giving her energy to Godzilla. They have like a symbiotic relationship, and that's how Godzilla was able to become overpowered and kill King Ghidorah. So I don't know if he still has that or what, and how that's going to lead into this Kong versus Godzilla movie. But there it is, folks. That's where we are right now. And if you've seen the trailers, they're trying to say that Godzilla has kind of gone crazy and he's actually attacking human beings as well. They don't know what's going on. I've heard some rumors about what's actually going on. I think that one of the Godzillas that you see in that trailer is not actually Godzilla, it's actually Mecha Godzilla. And for those who are familiar with the old, they use a lot of inspiration from the old Godzilla movies and the old King Kong movies to put into these, but like I said, they're still a self-contained universe. So this might be their way of doing Mecha Godzilla. If anyone remembers watching Godzilla 2014, they showed that, you know, Godzilla is part of a species of giant lizards, and you know, he had some ancestors that have also died, and they found one of their skeletons buried underground. So people are thinking that in this new movie they took that skeleton and that's how they created Mecha Godzilla, and then they put some genetic engineered skin over top of it to make it look like it's really the real Godzilla. So we might be dealing with like a giant cyborg, basically. So I'm thinking that Kong and Godzilla will fight, but then I think they will eventually wind up teaming up to fight this new monster that is created by man. So that's just a rumor. I'm not sure if that's 100% true, but we shall see when Godzilla vs. Kong comes out. So hopefully you guys get it. Hopefully if I've explained it enough. If you have any more questions about what's going on in this, like I said, this is all part of one self-contained universe. This is not the Godzilla you remember from the 1950s. This is not the same Godzilla that was doing drop kicks against Megalon and fighting with what's his name, Jet Jaguar and whatnot. This is not the same King Kong that climbed the Empire State Building and got shot down by biplanes. Okay, this is one self-contained universe. At this point, Kong has never even been off of Skull Island. All right, so this is something different. It's using the same characters but a different universe all contained in one. So hopefully you guys will enjoy it, or if you have been watching it and enjoying it, hope you enjoy it as much as I do. I'm an old school giant kaiju monster fan. I love all these types of movies, even from the more serious ones all the way up to the more silly ones that you can see out there. So if they're silly or more serious, I like them both. I even read a lot of the books like Monster 731 and Island 731 and things like that. I like those books. So I'm into the mythology of this movie. I even like what they've done with this universe. Like I said, they've used a lot of conspiracy theories like cryptozoology as well as Hollow Earth in these. So that's right up my alley. That's all I do is look up weird conspiracy theories and listen to horror stories and read horror books. So this movie and this series has everything that I've always enjoyed, going right back to my childhood when I was sitting in my grandma's house with construction paper drawing giant monsters with crayons. So that's what it is, and I hope you guys will check it out. Maybe I'll do a review when the movie finally comes out, whenever it does. So anyway, you guys let me know what you think about it in the comment section. And like I said, if you have any other questions, I will answer them there. Anyway, Crazyhouse signing out. Peace.